this is amazing. Oh, it's clash heads again. This is like Chaz Mostyn and Cam Water.
For the first time here for season 3. Davis on pole, Vanderkrant in second. It's going to be sprint round action here tonight. Let's go racing here at Daytona. It was a good start there from Davis in comparison to Vanderkrant in behind. Cowan's absolutely bogged it up and already dropped out of the top 3 here as they come down towards turn 1 for the first time. There's biffing and barging between Gallen and Cowan. These guys are still going at it after last season. They survived for this time by though. Through turn 2 and 3 they come. Nice and clean, boys. Keep it up as they come up to...
I love riding. It's a real social thing. There's a great bond between riders.
Every weekend I look forward to getting out there. It's a freedom like no other.
Riding to work is a great way to start the day.
Shannons insure all types of road bikes, not just classics. They offer features riders really want. It's why they're one of Australia's leading motorcycle insurance providers.
Whatever you ride, whatever you ride,
Whatever you ride.
ride with Shannons.
Call 134646 for a quote.
Through turn 1, it was a horrible start from De Bono. He's absolutely bogged it up and gets eaten alive by Dixon and Gowans as they come on through. Through turn 1 they come, and they all spread out around in towards the first sector of the Silverstone circuit. They look all right at the moment. Okay, there's already been a car spun round. That's Jordan Ferguson offline.
Is green, green, green at Road Atlanta here as well. Faulkner did get away. De Bono is tucked in as well. Unfortunately, Houghton is on that outside line. De Bono does want to tell him to do. He's got the job. De Bono's overtaken. Now can he get Ben Faulkner? Up through turns 2 and 3 they go. Round the right-hander, dropping down the hill. Faulkner's out in front. De Bono second. Houghton third. Ratcliffe in fourth. No real dramas going into turn 1.
We've always had a few cars. They're all special. The T-Bird.
Oh, that's mine.
The Combi for when we want to get away. The XR8.
It's going to be a classic.
They're all insured with Shannons,
We've also got Shannon's home and contents cover.
which helps protect our automotive collectibles, tools and memorabilia in the home and garage. If you're motoring enthusiasts like us, it's got to be.
Shannon's.
Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts. Call 134646 for a quote.
This is amazing. Oh, it's clash heads again. This is like Chaz Mostyn and Cam Waters. Almost the same situation. Better contact going down the hill. Sam Noble wants to sniff on Dave Coleman now. Sam Noble bottle right now because tell you what, Reece Tanak and Jamie Dyson just absolutely drove away from us. Hayden trying to go around the outside. This is where he could have just sent it up the inside, but he hasn't defended it, which is fair enough. It's very scary out there, ladies and gentlemen. Now let's see if we get something wrong. Dodds just absolutely think about it. It's a really nice move. Blake Delaney had to move out of the way.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Sim Racing World TV, and welcome in to round number 7 of Season 1 of 2024 for the Legends World Challenge here out at Oran Park for our Australian triple header across the next final 3 weeks of the season. We started out here at Oran Park, of course. I'm a commentator here tonight, Hamish Munro, bringing you all the action through sight and sound. I just wanted to apologise for the broadcast ending early last Friday. Had a slight little power blip that completely turned the PC off and stopped the broadcast early. So I do apologise for that happening. But tonight, we look ahead, we look forward to some awesome action around a track that, of course, is no longer around in real world racing. Of course, it is now a housing development out here at Oran Park. We've got a good little preview of this track last week in the supercars. They gave us a beautiful little onset to what is occurring here tonight for the Legends World Challenge. Of course, a couple of comments already out there. Beck out there with us. Good evening, racers and viewers. Ash DeVries, of course, from in the actual sim, saying, "Oh boy, here we go." And Livingston, Matt in the chat as well, saying, "Oh, they're so cute with their race cars." So great to have you all here with us. Great to have you all watching live with us. And if you haven't already and you enjoy what you see here tonight, be sure to hit the like button, the subscribe, and the bell icon as well, so you are notified whenever we go racing here on SRWtv. We've got so much action to come with the final week of SRW next week for round number 9. Of course, this series and the GTs have got 2 weeks left after tonight. They will be going a week longer than any other series here in SRW due to the offset at the start of the season with the crowd strike issues that occurred. But last week, Okayama had some fantastic battling on track before we were cut off unceremoniously early. Tonight, I think we're going to be on for something special. Now, we had some great racing here in the supercars, but I think it's going to go up another level here tonight for the Legends, being the fact that you can see how wide the straight is and how little these Legends cars are. We could be seeing cars go 4 or 5 wide down the straight, up towards turn 1 and even through the back section of this circuit as well. So we are going to be on for one hell of a night of racing here, ladies and gentlemen, at Oran Park. Of course, next week we go to Bathurst. The week after we go to our driver's choice track of Sandown. We never got Pukekohe announced for this season, being season 4 starting next week. So we do not give the option for Sandown or Pukekohe. It is just Sandown in the final round. And that is going to be absolutely epic in these wonderful little pieces of machinery. We've got plenty of drivers out there here tonight. 13, in fact, in the session, ready to have a crack at Oran Park. Got the likes of Ben Faulkner, Zach Rattray-White, Tony Baker, Dan Bartis, Sam Chapman, Dougie Gowans, of course. Coming into the series on debut, Mick Clifton back, Jordan Ferguson, Jack Anderson, Andrew Rushworth, Tyler Sheaf in the series after a time away. And then, of course, as well, Ash DeVries and Kyle Gretsch at the back end of the field. So we are going to be on for some special stuff here tonight. I'm just going to quickly bring up the season standings on my end so I can read through them and just go through how the current championship is lining up before drop rounds. Now, if you guys want to be able to access this, you are in the SRW Discord. You can go to the Sim Racer Hub link that is in season standings and you'll be able to find the standings as well. In fact, I'm also going to put it into the chat. So if you guys want to go and check out the standings, go see where some drivers are situated, and feel free to go and do thusly. As we currently stand, Tony Baker leads the championship on 923 points. Now, these are before drop rounds. Drop rounds will get counted as of the last round of the season. Jack Anderson sits P2 on 914. Andrew Rushworth on 903. And then on 874, we have Ash DeVries, and then Sam Katakazinos makes up the top 5 in the championship on 808 points. Behind them, Tyson McAvoy on 787. Dan Bartish, P7 in the championship, 796. Jordan Ferguson in 8th on 689, and Sam Chapman in 9th on 521, and making up the top 10 in the championship. Tyson Hanmer on 493. So that is the top 10 in the championship, relatively speaking. Championship contenders-wise in this title race, there is realistically 4 drivers who can take out this championship. Well, maybe 6. We have got 3 weeks of racing left to go, including tonight. Tony Baker, Jack Anderson, Andrew Rushworth, Ash DeVries, Sam Katakazinas, and Tyson McAvoy are the ones with a relative good chance of winning this title. Dan Bartish has got a mathematical chance of doing it as well. Just have to wait and see how these guys go across our 3 Australian rounds to come here to end out our season on home soil. Qualifying is getting underway though, and the cars are already out there looking absolutely as gorgeous as ever, rocketing their way around this beautiful Oran Park circuit. We have to give a big old shout out, of course, to all of our series sponsors, including our title sponsors, Warren & Brown Tools, for their continued support, of course, on the Tuesday night V8 Supercar Series. The Friday night, the second half of the Friday night double bubble, the GTD series, which happens later tonight at 7:50 p.m. Fingers crossed we can get the numbers for that series. Then, also, of course, as well, the Sunday night V8 Supercars Championship as well. We also have to then also thank Cooler Master for their continued support on the Wednesday night Super Formula Championship, and to Shannon's Insurance for their continued support of the Thursday night Toyota GR86 Nationals. Also want to give a shout out to all of our other sponsors as well: NeuroPower, DSL Rail Services, Shunt Scenery, and Groom Industries, the home of the V8 Coffee Table, which can be found on Prime Video's Top Gear Australia. The little studio segments, the interviews, the news, whatever it may be, you can see it dead pan in the middle of the studio portions of that show. But qualifying underway at the moment. Times are going to be coming in quick and fast as the drivers begin their first flying laps of this beautiful circuit here. Jack Anderson, one of the first drivers out on track to get a lap time in for himself. So we'll see how he does comparatively to some of these other drivers like Ben Faulkner and Zach Rattray White. We know they've got some pace. We'll see how they go. Moment, Sam Chapman sets the first fastest time of the session, a 1:16.27 for Vermilion Motorsports. Mick Clifton's gone P2 in the session for his second week in the series. Ferguson is P3, but a little bit off the pace of the top 2 at the moment. Faulkner, Rattray White, Gretsch not out on track, of course. Gretsch has got a rear of grid penalty for some contact that was made last week at Okayama, so he will unfortunately not be able to take part in qualifying here this evening. Doug Gowan's on debut. See how he does in the Legend, what kind of lap time he can pull together. Of course, we mentioned it many times before, especially across last season, as Tony Baker goes pole with 1:16.214. Rushworth in P5 now, a 17.32. Gowan's with a bit of a callback to something that we mentioned a long, long time ago, back in Season 2 of an Itashar livery. I'm not going to go into detail of what is an Itashar. At least not too much detail. It's basically just a paint job or a decal on the car that shows off, more than 9 times out of 10, an anime-style character. So he's running that style livery here tonight. Bit of tyre smoke up ahead as Sam Chapman now goes back to provisional pole. With the first 15 of the qualifying session, a 15.96. Bartish crosses the line, a 16.72. Great little lap from him. DeVries now rocketing down the straight up towards the start-finish line. Gowans has gone P3 with a 16.69, so he's got some pace in that machine. DeVries yet to set a lap time here in this qualifying session. Neither has Tyler Sheaf as they continue to get going once again. So Faulkner, Rattray White, maybe those guys trying to put a bit of a challenge on themselves, doing the old last to first challenge, the old rear of grid to first challenge. See how that pays off for them here this evening. Rushworth, third in the championship. He has been uber consistent thus far this season. Showed up for the majority of the rounds. So has Jack Anderson. So has Tony Baker. That's why those guys are top 3 in the championship at this point in time. We don't have the other contenders, though, in Tyson McAvoy or Sam Katagazinos. They're not here tonight, it seems. So those guys are not able to race here on a Friday for the Legends World Challenge at this point in time. Unfortunate, it happens. But hopefully we can see them back again before season's end, having more cracks at this title race and coming for a bit of Friday night fun as De Vries looks to end this lap. What's the lap time going to be? Is it going to be a clean one for him? As Bartush now goes P3 in the timing tower, 16.47, just pipping Dougie Gowans. De Vries across the line as a lap time counter. It has P9 on the road, unfortunately, a 118.3. Is not going to be good enough. 118.1, I do apologise. Not going to be good enough. Really get him anywhere up near the front end of town. Sheafy goes ahead of him, 117.6. Chapman's on for a mega lap. He's on for a session best through the first sector here. He's in a either gone worse or as good in the second with that orange sector. Same for the third sector as well. Of course, this is a short circuit as well. It's not too long, about 1.6 miles in the old language. Just over 2 Ks in the modern Australian measurement system. As Chapman comes round the final corner, what's the lap time going to be? Is he going to improve on that 15.7? It's a very impressive time. He's really stretching his legs at the moment. Oh, he goes just as good, but it's not any better than his previous best. As now everyone who's out on track, the top 10, have all set a lap time here in qualifying. Of course, regular format for Legends World Challenge, 2-minute qualifying, 10-minute first heat, little 3-minute expression session / warm-up, and the 15-minute feature to end everything out here tonight. They did have a half-an-hour practice session before the qualifying to get themselves acclimatized to the circuit, acclimatized to the car track combination as well. They've had plenty of opportunity here tonight to get accustomed to what they'll be racing around for the majority of the piece. As Mick Clifton, currently in his second week in the Legends World Challenge, sits P5 on the road at the moment in what is... he's been a bit of a revelation, and I'd have to think what could have been for him if he'd raced all season. He really could have been one of those title contenders that we've mentioned, just by those consistent top-end finishes, the top-level finishes. The drivers are at the top end of town. They've raced every single race thus far this season, so they have all been in contention for quite a long period of time. Of course, later tonight, GTD's the other half of the Friday night double bubble. We want to be able to get that broadcast going. It didn't go broadcasted last week. Unfortunately, did not get the numbers that we needed to broadcast. It was a phenomenal race that, unfortunately, we had to miss out on seeing, but that'll be happening tonight at Daytona for round number 7. So that will be undoubtedly an incredible affair, especially if we get the numbers up for it. That would be awesome. See some brilliant cars racing around that track, as Clifton has now gone P4 on the timing tower, a 116.49. So Sinker often says he's got the rock star hair. He's living a rock star lifestyle right now, and he is rocking and rolling with some fantastic pace around this Oran Park circuit. Anderson's now just pipped Ferguson for P6 with a 16.64. Still some pace to be found in that car for him. Of course, he won the initial series of Legends World Challenge over in the Conglomerate Championship last season, the Associated Series. He won the first ever title. He has an opportunity to go back-to-back here this season. And if he can do it, it'll be one hell of a feat for the other admin of this series. And it'll be once again another case of when you know who won the pony. Ash DeVries saying thanks, Matt, in the chat. Be sure to get into the chat if you are watching us live here tonight as well. We want to get you involved. We want to know your thoughts of the car track combination, what you think of the Legends World Challenge. If you want to get involved as well, be sure to head to www.simracingworld. I do apologise, to www.simracingworld.com.au. That is www.simracingworld.com.au. It is linked below in the description of the stream. Go there, register as a driver if you haven't already. Send proof of your registration to the SRW Facebook page. They'll get you into the Discord. You'll be able to sign up as qualifying has come to an end. quite abruptly, as it often does here every single week. It still scares me. It still scares me watching a car go around and then all of a sudden, boop, it's gone. It is, I'm fearful. I'm fearful for my life. And I fear for these drivers' lives here tonight as they go around this fishtail-looking circuit here at Oran Park as we're about to get gridded up and go racing. For Oran Park, ladies and gentlemen, this will be the starting grid for race number 1 here tonight. Sam Chapman will start pole position ahead of Tony Baker on the front row of the grid. Dan Bartish, Mick Clifton on the second, with Dougie Gowans and Jack Anderson on the third row of the grid. Jordan Ferguson, Tyler Sheaf in behind them, with Andrew Rushworth and Ash DeVries making up the top 10. In behind them, it's Ben Faulkner, Zach Rattray White. Then with his rear of grid penalty, Kyle Gretsch will start from the back end of town here tonight for this race. Beck once again in the chat saying go Mickey Rockstar Clifton, giving the love for him out there. We love to see you guys supporting those drivers that you come out here to support. We want to know what drivers you are supporting, who you want to see on track here tonight. We'll try and get through everyone throughout both racing proceedings, of course. Heat 1 not too far away, though. We're not too far from the lights going up. We just await a couple of drivers to grid up. And then we go racing for Oran Park. This could be absolute chaos off the start line. Could be absolute chaos off the start line. Of course, turn 1, 2. Such a tough area to get right. Lewis Greathead in the chat. Ben's eating a slab from KFC. Well, hopefully he can, hopefully that can fuel him to victory here tonight as lights are going to go up. We're going to go racing at Oran Park with the Legends World Challenge. 4 lights, 5 lights. Let's go racing as everyone smokes it up off the line. But they all get away nice and cleanly down towards turn number 1. Chapman leads. Bartish is already up into the top 2 positions past Baker. He had an absolute horrid start there. 2, 3 wide through turn 1, 2. Anderson absolutely sending it on Clifton in the background. There's been major contact with him and Clifton's been turned around. Rushworth's dropping positions as well. There's been an absolute chaos send at turn 2 by a couple of these drivers as they continue to go too wide through these early sections of this circuit. We'll get the replays happening at the end of this lap. You can see here Sheafy under major pressure from Rushworth, who unloads the car, gets a massive wiggle over the bump. And now looks forward. You can see Faulkner, Rattray White. They've now got Ferguson and Anderson in their sights at the moment. On board now with Faulkner as he sends it up the inside of Jordan Ferguson. Of course, the Vermilion Motorsports driver continues on forward. Now has Anderson in his sights. His teammate Rattray White follows him through. Down through the last corner they come, as Chapman still leads the way to Dan Bartish, Tony Baker, Doug Gowans, Jack Anderson, Ben Faulkner, Zach Rattray White, Jordan Ferguson, Tyler Sheaf, Andrew Rushworth, Kyle Gretsch, Mick Clifton and Ash DeVries at the back end of the field. And unfortunately, I do believe DeVries has had a bit of an off track for himself because he is super far back at the moment. We will quickly find out what has happened at turn 2 to cause Mick Clifton to go round. So, no, we don't. We want full speed, please. Full speed on this moment. So you see Clifton. He's got Anderson behind. Anderson sends it up the inside. Oh, running a little bit wide. A little bit of net code there. We'll see what happens in the post-race review. See if there's anything coming Anderson's way for that knock. And this was how DeVries went off track. So he was in behind this big battle pack in towards... Oh, you see Gretsch up the inside. Bit of a knock, and that's what spun him round. So big old knock there from Gretsch on DeVries. That's what's put him right at the back of the field. Sean Benici in the chat. Great to have you with us here, Sean. Hopefully you can hop into race 2 if you get into the server. We'd love to have you out there, mate, as everyone comes across the line to start lap number 3. These are the intervals at the moment. You can see them there. Closest battle on track, debutant Dougie Gowans battling it out right now with Dan Bartish. They've got Rattray White and Faulkner in behind, chasing them down, the Vermilion duo. As Gowans and Bartish continue this fight for P3 on the road. So Baker's now gotten that P2 back off Bartish, which he lost on the race start. And now he looks ahead to try and chase down the almost insurmountable Sam Chapman at the moment, who was doing 1:15s in qualifying. No one else got into the 15s who did set a lap. And at this stage, he has got the fastest lap of the race as well, with 1:16.22. So he is rocketing forward at the moment. Gretsch has now ended up at the back of the field once again behind De Vries. He's had himself a moment earlier on as they come up towards the final couple of corners. We'll see here if Bartish is going to be under any real pressure from Gowans, if he's willing to put the pressure on him. Squeeze and mould the back end of that car like a masseuse. Whether he can find any knots in the system that he can punch out and try and make his way through. He's got the toe, as little as it is. He's trying to get an inside line here. Bartish covering that inside line beautifully. And right now, Gowans cannot find a pathway through, and he just cannot get by Dan Bartish at this stage in time. They've got Rattray White and Faulkner in behind them as their chase down continues on. A bit further back, we've got Anderson trying to chase down Ferguson as well. We are a bit spread it out towards the back end of the field as Rattray White looks to get it up the inside now of Gowans, gets it done. Faulkner sneaks back through, so the team play is already starting to occur here for Vermilion. One driver forces another one out the way, and then the teammate just slots back on through in the free air. As there's been a massive stack in the background there. Gowans has kept going, but Anderson has been involved. What has occurred with them at the back end of the track? So it was around off the bridge, had a bit of a knock, massive slide in the 319. Has to back it off the track there. Nice little rejoin, does not get in anybody's way. As Faulkner brings his car into pit lane. No, he doesn't. No, it's because of the fact that they're running right up against the pit wall, and it classifies them on the entry. But he is bump drafting, or getting bump drafted like hell right now from Zach Rattray White as they try and chase down Dan Bartish. Of course, got Baker up ahead of them. Chapman has already checked out of this little battle pack. He's got the lead well in hand as these boys try and chase down Bartish at the moment. So we've had some good battles early on in this race. We are just about 6 minutes into the first race of the evening. We'll have 4 minutes to go momentarily. I think a handful of laps as well. Sean Manish saying just got home from work, server closed, so getting sorted for the GTD race. All good, Sean. All good. Totally understand. I didn't know if the server will be closed or not because of race 2, but that's understandable. It's all good. Hope you enjoy the GTDs out there tonight. Hopefully we get some good numbers as well so we can get a broadcast going for it. That'll be absolutely perfect. As the Vermilion Hunters have got Bartish in their sights. They chase down the 95 entry at the moment, trying to keep maximum pressure on him at this stage and force the mistake if they can to make their lives a little bit easier. But 2 against 1 does feel a little bit insurmountable at times. Oh, but they're having a little bit of wheel-to-wheel action in behind them. Maybe this affair is not so friendly all the time. Maybe there are little spouts of despair between them as they try and sort themselves out. Kyle Gretsch has had another incident. He's had to tow it back to pits off the back of it. What has occurred to Kyle Gretsch here at the back end of the field up towards the final corner? Oh, caught a bit of a stray edge off that curb. That's just sent him straight into the wall. Massive damage for the 119. Had to tow it back. But this battle continues on as these guys look to chase down Dan Bartish here. Let's go on board and we'll see how well they can attack him across this next lap. It only took Rattray White to the end of the straight at turn 1 to get the job done. Faulkner now in behind Bartish is going to try and get this done. He's gone for a bit of an up in the side move on him there. Bit of a switch back. Forces him out a little bit wide, gets the job done. That's now another Vermilion car onto the podium for Rattray White. Faulkner now sits P4. And they look to chase down Tony Baker up ahead of him in P2 on the road at this stage. Benici saying hope so. I figured with being 13 and being Daytona, yeah, I hope so. I mean, Daytona is quite a popular track, of course. I mean, there's plenty of drivers that have signed up for the GTs. Just whether they want to come and race when they haven't raced for so long, that's the only issues. But let's wait and see. Brecht has not rejoined the circuit ever since towing back to pit lanes. He possibly may have given up for the evening on this one, maybe in coming back for race 2 possibly as well. As this battle continues to heat up, final minute of the session means final lap for Sam Chapman. Up ahead of these boys in the lead. He is 4.2 seconds at the lead of this race at the moment, ahead of Tony Baker. So then Rattray White, Faulkner and Bartish making up the top 5. Gowans, Ferguson, Clifton, Sheaf, Anderson, Rushworth, De Vries make up the rest of the running order, with Gretsch in the pit lane at this stage in time. But it has been a dominant performance thus far for Sam Chapman, as he has done a 15.8. So he's doing qualifying times in this race, folks. He is absolutely cooking in this race. He's feeling completely at ease and gelled with this track car combination. Around the final corner now for Sam Chapman. Up towards the line he comes, from pole to win for Sam Chapman of Vermilion Motorsports. It was a perfect race and a grand slam for Chapman. Fastest lap, led every lap, had pole and won race number 1 here at Oran Park. Baker comes home P2, Rattray White P3, Faulkner in P4, Bartish comes home P5, Gowans in P6, Ferguson brings it home in P7, Clifton in P8, Sheaf P9, Rushworth's going to cross the line in P10, Anderson, oh, that car's struggling to get back here. It's got some big damage. He's in P11 at the moment, whereas De Vries, he could get him here if Anderson cannot get this thing up towards the start-finish line. He's got to try and run. There's De Vries. Anderson's going to get it. He's going to get P11. De Vries is going to get P12 on the road here for race number 1. All right, folks, we now have our warm-up / expression session to come. 3 minutes for these drivers to either go out, have a bit of a warm-up, have a bit of an expression, possibly as well go use the facilities, get themselves a drink or a snack. They could do so. Steph Piccoli saying, is it too late for me to join? Just got home. I think from what Sean said, the session is technically closed, Steph. Which is to say, yeah, race 1's done, so you might not get in. That's the only problem. That is the only issue at hand for that one. You could come and hop in the comms box if you'd like. That's up to you, of course, if you wish to do that. Ashod's saying, I'm worried about starting at the front. You'll be right, Shoz. Just get the dogs and park the bus. Best strategy for you on that front. That's what I would claim. That's what I would claim. Just get the dogs and send it. Park the bus, get the dogs, send the stamp that you've just licked completely, and have a good old crack, as Baker's out there doing a bit of a practice start for himself at the moment. No real expression sessioning happening at this stage. JP Broadcasting, this is right up my time zone. Hey, JP, surely you come in the booth and call the second race with me. Surely. Little 15-minute feature. Bit of love for Oran Park and the Legends. Come on. It would be an absolute send. These things have been awesome all season. You guys have been missing out on some awesome racing. I'm just going to mention, you guys have been missing out on some awesome racing all season here on the Friday night double bubble. This has been immense. It's been absolutely awesome thus far this season. And I'm excited for the next 2 weeks. Bathurst next week. Sandown the week after. Are you kidding? Like, that's going to be incredible. It's all good, JP. All good, mate. Totally understand. Lewis, where's your GTDs this week? They're at Daytona this week, Lewis. Later tonight, 7:50 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, we go live with the Warren & Brown Tools GTD series, barring not enough numbers. So they are at Daytona this week, but I believe entries are closed for GTs. Let me have a look. Oh no, they're open. GTs are still open. So you should still be registered with SRW. Just go in there and sign up for the GTs if you haven't already. And I'm sure Stefan will be happy to get you into the league. Steph saying, I can just imagine JP's excited voice with these. I reckon JP would have an absolute ball with these things. He'd be having a great time. As everyone's going to get lined up on the grid for the full reverse grid here of race number 2. You heard that correctly. Full reverse grid. As Kyle Gretsch will start pole position. Well, JP, the Legends is free. So I don't actually get paid to do the Legends. This one I do off my own back since I actually admin this one. So I do this one out of the love for the Legends cars and the love for the racing. That's why this one still gets done even with shorter numbers than other series. But Kyle Gretsch will start pole position ahead of Ash DeVries in P2. Jack Anderson, Andrew Rushworth will be on the second row of the grid. Tyler Sheaf, Mick Clifton on the third. Jordan Ferguson, Doug Gowans on the fourth row with Dan Bardish and Ben Faulkner on the fifth. Zach Rattray White, Tony Baker, Sam Chapman make up the rest of the grid. As we have the lights up, we're going to get ready to go racing here for Oran Park and for the Legends. Gretsch has absolutely lit it up off the start line and has lost the lead immediately to Anderson and DeVries, and he's now getting absolutely swamped down towards turn 1 as Anderson leads them through for the first time. Ferguson's running out massively wide, but he's kept it going somehow. Rattray White and Gowan side by side in the background. Rushworth and Sheaf continue to battle on as well for third place at this stage in time. Gretsch has already dropped down to P5 off the race start. You can see the absolute pack of cars rocketing through in the back end of the field. Clifton here under pressure now from Rattray White. Faulkner and Gowan still side by side up towards the bridge as they come on through. On board now with Gowans in this tight battle. Rushworth's lost it, so is Gowans in the background as well. Absolute scenes off the exit of the bridge. Baker somehow survived. Gretsch has now towed it back to pit lane. What has happened off the exit of the bridge? We merely had a POV of a couple of cars having a coming together. Back up the front though, Anderson, DeVries. These guys battling it out hard here. Too wide, it's a drag race down towards the first corner. Sheafy's lurking in behind. If there's contact, they're banging wheels down towards turn 1. These guys are mates, but they're going to race as hard as anyone. Sheafy wants to get involved as well as they come on through in towards 1 and 2. Anderson going to try and hold the leader. He does so. DeVries right in behind him. Rattray White, Faulkner, these guys chasing them down. They got Clifton, Chapman and Ferguson continuing on as well as we come on through in towards turn 3. JP saying, but I do love you, Hamish. Oh, thanks for that, JP. Appreciate it. Sam Catacasinos, g'day. Hey, guys. Great to have you here, Sam, with us, watching this awesome action. Wish you were out on track with us here tonight. As this front 2 battle continues on, DeVries now takes the lead. Anderson now has Sheaf in behind him, possibly committing to a slowdown. Not 100% sure there. We'll get the replays happening of that lap 1 incident fairly shortly here, ladies and gentlemen, as they continue on up to the final corner. And in through they come. De Vries leads them. Anderson trying to get the run. He's going to try and make it too wide now. Oh, they nearly swapped. The rolls are nearly swapped. Then last lap, look at them all in tow, trying to get the toe off the leader down towards turn 1. Chapman's now set the fastest lap of the race last time by a 1:16.88 as they cross the line. In towards turn 1, there's slight contact. Sheafy trying to lock it up the inside of Anderson, forced him out wide. Rattray White takes advantage. So does Faulkner as they continue on now down towards turn 3. It's an absolute shambles here at the front end of the pack. De Vries is still holding the lead, running for his life. He's got Sheafy in behind him. You can see Anderson and Rattray White still battling now for P4 on the road. Ferguson lurking in behind. Bartish is now at an off track as well. It is absolute limbs early on here. Faulkner trying to bully his way through Tyler Sheaf for P2 on the road. Sheafy's trying to not make it as easy as he can for Ben Faulkner. He's going to try and make this as hard as possible for him. As up in towards the final corner. As Faulkner sends it up the inside as Sheafy gets it done. Rattray White now also gets past him as well. And they continue on through to turn number 1 now. Sheafy's trying to come back at him but cannot quite get there. This was what happened. This is what happened on lap 1. Where was the moment? We'll get it from here. So there was a bit of battling happening with Kyle Gretsch and Andrew Rushworth. So this was through turn 3 up towards turn 4. You can see here, Gretsch has the inside line, Rushworth on the outside line. And then up across the hill, they're still side by side. Gretsch takes that inside line once again, runs it out a little bit wide, and then there's just contact between them, and that's what sends Gretsch and, of course, Rushworth off the track. And then in behind that, Gowans also ended up off the track as well. So that was the bit of biffing and barging that happened on the first lap. As Faulkner has now taken the lead with Rattray White P2, De Vries in P3 at the moment now. This is how they took the lead off of De Vries here. So it was down towards turn 4 once again. Is he just going to send it? He is. So he sends it up the inside of De Vries. A little bit of door banging there between them. That's all right. And he continues on with the lead of the race. Then Rattray White pretty much tried to do the same thing off the exit of the bridge. Has he pulled it off at that stage? No, he hadn't. So he must do it just down here to get it past him possibly. Oh yeah, De Vries trying to defend, made the mistake. Rattray White said, "Bob's your uncle, I'll have that very much, thank you." Whew. What a start to this race. What a start to this race. Every week, week in and week out, race 2 has been absolutely cooking with gas. It has been awesome. Typically saying, should have a commentators an RC race and have drivers be standing for comms and RC. Include the admins, might pitch it to Sinker. The only problem with that is you're going to get the drivers who are in the RC booth being very, very biased towards the RC who are racing and give them unnecessary penalties. That's the only issue at hand you'd have with that. As Chapman and Anderson continue their battle in behind. Chapman spun it round. Baker's had contact with him. That has got some massive championship implications on it. Oh, need to be careful. The rejoin. He's dropping to the back end of the field. How in the hell did those guys avoid that? Mick Clifton, Doug Gowans, and Dan Bartish will be absolutely sweating from brow to brow as they came across that moment there. But this has now got massive championship implications for Baker, because if Anderson finishes as far up as he is, same with Rushworth, both of these guys have got an opportunity to actually pass him at the lead of the championship at this stage, as Sheafy's now trying to come at De Vries, but Anderson all over him at the moment. So this little four-way battle pack could be starting to form here. They got Ferguson lurking in the background. Oh, Anderson and Sheaf. The battle is on here. 2 wide to 4. No, here's Ferguson. Oh, gives him plenty of room, does Anderson. Ferguson continues on up across the bridge now. They continue on here and they start to settle back down as De Vries has now started to gap them out. In P3, there's Rushworth lurking in the background. Gowan's following on through. Bartish has now picked off Mick Clifton at this stage as Ferguson has got past Sheaf, who spun it round. He's parked across the road, holding the brakes well. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. The wherewithal of Tyler Sheaf then nearly got absolutely collected by Doug Gowans, and he had the wherewithal to put the thing in reverse and just get it off the track. That right there was one of the best pieces of avoidance I think I've ever seen from someone who is doing the right thing and holding brakes. He deliberately reversed it back to avoid Doug. Dan had to take somewhat evasive action, so did Tony Baker. But wow, wowee, that could have been hairy. That could have been incredibly hairy there between them. This was the moment that happened with Chapman. We saw it before. So this was on the inside of Anderson, caught the curb, big old tank slapper, and then Baker had nowhere to go. And then at the same corner, this is what happened to Sheaf. So he had Ferguson right, hot on his tail. Ferguson's tried to dive it up the inside. Oh, there's been contact between them, so that might be a penalty coming Ferguson's way in the post-race review. You see there, Rushworth avoided. Oh my God, that was so close. So close to being an absolute wreck. It was unbelievable. Unbelievable between them. As the front two, Faulkner and Rattray White, continue their little battle here for the win, the Linz team battle. A little bit of door banging between them, having a bit of fun together. You can see De Vries and Anderson lurking in the background. Rushworth has now gone up to P5. Gowans, Bartish, Clifton and Baker as Rattray White gets the job done into the lead. Here comes Faulkner continuing this battle on. Trying to force the issue to reclaim this lead now at this stage. And could not quite get it done on Rattray White just yet, but further back. You see Gowans is all over Andrew Rushworth at the moment, as he looks to chase him down for P5 on the road. Now, Rushworth will be wanting to keep this position because at the moment he would not be losing too many points to Jack Anderson. He's only losing enough for what would be 3 points on Anderson at this stage. But he doesn't want to give up this position because that's another 3 points he's then losing. And points are so tight at the moment at the top end of town. You can't really be giving up this these kind of amounts of points. That's the only problem. So that is the only issue here. So Picoli Jet saying, hey Bex, sorry for not replying a lot today. At the Bossman on the counter with me, lol. I was the only minion on the counter today. So unfortunately for Steph, she's doing it working hard instead of hardly working. Which is not what you want on a working Friday. Of course, you want to be hardly working on that Friday. And we can all attest as Gowans and Rushworth continue this little battle. We have got less than 5 minutes to go in the feature race right now. Chapman, who won race 1, is all the way at the back end of the field, and I don't even think he's racing anymore. He's out, so he cannot win this round. If it's going to go to anyone, it would be going to Zach Rattray White, who finished P3 on the road in the last race. If Faulkner were to get past him, they would tie, but Faulkner would technically win the round because of the race win. So that's not just for a race win here in race 2, but it's also for the round win if they were to finish how they are. Tony Baker, who was the other podium finisher last race, is back at P9, so he can't really challenge for it either. As Anderson's going slow ahead of them, and he's now lost the position. Oh, a bit of a knock in with Bartish. Oh my God, how in the hell did they survive this? He had an off track, and then he got absolutely swamped by this pack of cars. So what's happened here? He's trying to chase down De Vries. Oh, just a big old slide. And then he's trying to catch it through here. Big old turnaround. So that's then when he's parked it now. Oh, there you can see all of them avoiding action. He just could not find a pathway to go. Very, very lucky. A lot of these drivers tonight, aside from Baker and Chapman, have come off very, very lucky in terms of the fact that they've just missed pure disaster. You know, they might have a spin here or there, but they've missed absolute disaster by not getting completely collected by the oncoming field. And Anderson's tyres right now, they are screaming for help. Absolutely screaming and screeching in agony. They are overheated to all heck. And he is just struggling for grip at the moment. And he's now dropping spots. So now he's not getting anything on Tony Baker. And he's not gaining anything on Rushworth. He's losing on both of them going into 2 rounds to go next week, being the final droppable round, of course. The front of the town, we've got Faulkner now leading to Rattray White. So Faulkner would be relatively winning the round with a race win and a P4. Rattray White needs to get back past him if he hopes to win this round. He must finish ahead of Faulkner if they were to finish back to back. As they go side by side through 1 and 2. A little bit of friendly teammate action going on here at the front end of town. Faulkner's going to force it a long way around. Could not quite get there at that stage in time. And Rattray White all over him like a bad smell. He's not willing to give up any points of pressure at this stage. As further back, we've got De Vries in P3. Started in P2. It's done well thus far. Gowan's in P4. He's up 4 spots. Clifton up 1 spot into P5. Rushworth down a heap of spots. As Anderson's had another moment and the rear end is absolutely lit up. Those tyres, they are absolutely done at this stage. You can see the car's just unable to get the grip. Just unable to get this thing gripped up at the moment. And you can, and just here through turn 3, the tyres are absolutely cooked. They are absolutely cooked. And he's now ended up back in the pit lane. So unfortunately for Anderson, this is looking more and more likely like it would be a drop round for him. As he's just had a poor performance here in race 2, unfortunately. As the front 2 battle between Faulkner and Rattray White will continue on for 1 more lap. It is the final lap of the race. We are within the final minute. Faulkner leads the way. If he wins this race, he wins the round. If Rattray White wins the race, he wins the round. That is what is on the line for these 2 Familiar Motorsports drivers. Rattray White etches his way into the lead. Faulkner going to try and force him out wide here. There's contact with them, but they keep on going. Rattray White sneaks it up the inside. Faulkner has had an absolute wiggle and a bingle off it. And he's now dropped back into P2 on the road as Rattray White looks ahead after the slightest of inconveniences towards Faulkner. He now leads the way in the 420 machine up towards the final couple of corners now for Zach Rattray White. He took P3 on the road in race number 1. He's going to come around the final corner. Faulkner nearly collides into the back of him there, but Rattray White is not only going to win race 2, he's going to win the round and make it a double for Familiar Motorsports with Faulkner P2 on the road. De Vries is now going to come home. Is he going to come home in P3? Gowans is drag racing him to the line. De Vries just gets him by 1/100th of a second. Gowans P4. Clifton home in P5. Rushworth home in P6. Bartish, Baker, Sheaf and Ferguson make up the rest of the running order here. But it was Rattray White, Zachary Rattray White, who took the absolute honours here in race number 2, ladies and gentlemen. And he takes the round win for Oran Park. A great chunk of points for him here in battling it out for some personal glory off the back of one hell of a season thus far. We have 2 rounds to go this season. 2 more rounds for these drivers to get prepared and to battle it out for the title. Remembering the drivers who were in contention for this championship going into this round. At the front end of the field was Tony Baker, Jack Anderson, Andrew Rushworth, Ash De Vries, Sam Katakazinas, Tyson McAvoy, Dan Bartish was at outside edge. De Vries with a great points gain in race 2, less so in race 1. Anderson a poor run in both. Rushworth a solid run. Baker a good run in race 1, a poor run in race 2. Katakazinos McAvoy did not race. Bartish was consistent. So it's going to be interesting to see what the championship standings look like next week when we get to Bathurst and who will be on the up and up for this championship fight. We are just awaiting Mr. Rattray White. We have him in there, ready to go. We will drag him in. Zachary Rattray White, a P3 in race number 1, a P1 in race number 2, gives you the round win here this evening. What were you and Ben doing? Because you guys are just absolutely having a bit of fun. Some door banging at the front of the field, and there's just a little kiss on the rear of Ben's car, and he has a bit of a wiggle, and you go, I'm coming straight through. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we're just having a hack, eh? Just, yeah. Bit of inter-team fun.
Well, I mean, that's what it looked like, mate. It looked like you guys were having an absolute blast at the front end of the field. You guys, of course, started from the back of both races. A bit of a last to first challenge for the both of you. It paid off for you here in race number 2, of course. What was it like trying to come through that traffic? Because we know that the reverse grids can often quite be, we'll say, chaotic. That'll be the nice way we'll say. They're quite chaotic. And just trying to find your way through some of the action that can occur mid-pack. What's kind of the mindset when you are making your way through? Are you trying to force your way through, or are you just trying to wait for that opening and then sneak on through at the right time?
A bit of both. Just giving people an extra meter or so when you can, because you never know what is going to happen. So
that sounds like the opposite to what Ben would say.
Yeah, Ben's a bit different. He just forces it in.
Yeah, it doesn't knock first. He just kicks the door down.
Yeah.
Well, mate, it's been an exceptional run for you here tonight. Some great pace on offer for you. I mean, Sam, he had the pace over everyone in race 1. He did a 15 off the back of it, then got caught up in an incident in race 2 and did not finish. So at the end of the day, it was you who was most consistent. You made your way through the field and you got the chocolates in the end. Let us know who helps get you and Vermilion Motorsports out on track. Anyone else you wish to give a shout out to as well. And off the back of that, how are you feeling for next week? Obviously, next week being Bathurst, longer circuit, a bit more deadly out there. How much chaos do you think we're going to have? Because I feel like it's just going to be 100% every single lap.
Yeah, well, thank just Ben and Sam for tonight. It was good fun. Bathurst is just going to be draft, I think. There isn't much draft in this car, but should be right, I think.
I think it's just going to be about how much you can send it across the top. And I think that's really where you're going to gain, I think. And because everyone should be relatively as quick as each other in the on the straights and through the last and first sector. Ben's actually got in the chat and said, whoa. So he's actually heard our comments we made about him. Sorry, Ben. Yeah. Oh, mate, it was an exceptional performance from yourself and the rest of your team out there tonight. Best of luck for Bathurst next week. Thank you for coming over chat. And looking forward to seeing how you guys go when we tackle the mountain in these little pocket rockets of heaven.
Cheers, Mort.
Thanks, Mort. All right, ladies and gentlemen. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that will bring an end to our broadcast here this evening. We so appreciate your time and you being here with us once again. For whatever reason, it had disconnected my microphone on Discord for a second there, but it was still working real time. But we appreciate your time, appreciate you being here with us once again. If you haven't already, you enjoyed the awesome action we had on offer here in the first half of the Friday Night Double Bubble. Be sure to hit the like button, the subscribe, and the bell icon as well, so you are notified whenever we go racing here on SRWtv. We have an awesome race to come later tonight. Warren Brown Tools GTDs around Daytona Road Course, and what is almost certain to be an epic affair. So keep an eye out for that one, remembering that if we do get the numbers that we need, being 12 drivers in the session, I do apologize, all of a sudden getting the hiccups, which is 12 drivers in the session before the time we go live, then the race will be broadcasted. Otherwise, it won't. But we hope that it does. We hope that we get the numbers we need. We hope we can have a phenomenal race later on tonight because GTs have been awesome when they've been at full strength. I want to give a shout out as well to all of our series sponsors. Once again, Warren Brown Tools, our title sponsors of the Tuesday night V8 Supercars Series, the Friday night GTDs, and the Sunday night V8 Supercars Championship. As well to Cooler Master for their continued support on the Wednesday night Super Formula Championship, and to Shannon's Insurance for their continued support of the Thursday night GR86 Nationals. As well to all of our other sponsors, NeuroPower, DSL Rail Services, and shunt scenery as well as Grim Industries, the home of the V8 coffee table, which can be found on Prime Video's Top Gear Australia in their little studio segments, the news, the interviews, whatever it may be. It's right there, dead center of those segments. But I've been Hamish Munro. This has been the Legends World Challenge, round number 7 of season 1 of 2024 out at Oran Park. We'll see you guys next week for Bathurst, and we go racing once again with these little legends. But until then, stay safe, drive hard, and as always, bye for now.
This is amazing. I was clash heads again. This is like Chaz Mostert and Cam Waters. Almost the same situation. Better contact going down the hill. Sam Noble wants to sniff on Dave Coleman now. Sam Noble bottle right now because tell you what, Bruce Tanak and Jamie Dyke just absolutely drove away from us.